The Prime Minister and Finance Minister have been confronted with a snapshot of their elderly selves on a huge billboard beside Parliament.
The Aged Care Association is using it to shine a light on their ongoing struggle. Nearly 1,000 aged care beds have closed this year, and the sector blames underfunding, rising costs and harsh immigration settings. Here's political reporter Amelia Wade.
The Prime Minister and her finance guy at 82 in all their wrinkly glory. This giant billboard right by Parliament, certainly one way to get their attention.
What do you think?
Distinguished.
They don't need to create campaigns or PR events to, of course, for us to know how important the sector is.
The aged care sector says by the time Jacinda Ardern might need their care, it will be more than 66,000 beds short.
On a current trajectory, not going to be available. And let's face it, we're wealthy, we're white, we're privileged.
Chris Gallivan's the director of the Home of Compassion Aged Care Facility in Upper Hutt. It has half the nurses it needs, so half of its beds are closed.
Aged care in Aotearoa, New Zealand is on the precipice of a national disaster.
There are three things he says in the government's control to fix. One,
the funding regime, not helpful.
There's already a lot of work underway to improve funding for the aged care sector, including a 5% increase in their funding this year.
Two,
the logjam that's created by an inflexible education system that is not quick enough to be able to train caregivers and registered nurses is not helpful.
And three,
the immigration settings, not helpful.
About those immigration settings, which require nurses to work for 2 years in order to gain residency, Newshub can reveal since July the government has signed off on employers to recruit 1,097 aged care nurses from overseas. 95 nurses have applied, 69 have been approved, but only 5 have arrived in the country.
They want to come to New Zealand, they want to stay in New Zealand, they want to make this their home. Let's make that happen for them.
We don't make immigration policy by saying why not just do that. We make immigration policy by listening, by looking at the evidence.
But that sector's so desperate for attention, it photoshopped the Prime Minister.
So, Amelia, the aged care sector has joined the call for nurses to get residency immediately.
Yeah, that's right. The Aged Care Association was actually one of only 2 groups the government actually consulted on nurse visas. At the time, they wanted to make nurses work for 2 years to get residency, but tied to one employer because they were worried that they would leave to go find a better paid hospital job. But the government only sort of half listened, and they ended up with these settings that nurses now have to work for 2 years, but they're not tied to one employer. And everyone Newshub speaks to in healthcare says these settings are the worst of every option, and the Aged Care Association today confirmed to Newshub it had changed its position. It now wants nurses to also get residency immediately and is calling for an urgent review into the green list. The Minister, though, again, isn't budging.
Amelia Wade live at Parliament. Thanks very much.